In this lecture, we'll set up a camera controller script to modify our camera field of view when we speed up or slow down. To really sell the effect of when we trip over a fence, get hit by an obstacle, or speed up with an apple, let's actually just modify this field of view on our camera. Now, we actually could just modify the field of view on our direct main camera that we currently have in our hierarchy. That would do just fine. However, sooner than later, we are actually going to use the Cinemachine package to add a little bit more juice to our game. So for the sake of actually having to refactor too much as far as variables are concerned and changing the Cinemachine's field of view, let's just go ahead and do that now and modify the Cinemachine's camera. So let's pop over to our package manager and install Cinemachine. I believe we can find that in Window, find Package Manager, here we go. With this open, let's just install the Cinemachine package inside the Unity registry. With this package installed, let's go ahead and minimize this window. And over in our hierarchy, we can actually now just create a Cinemachine virtual camera. We just need to right click and create a Cinemachine camera. So we find Cinemachine, and we're not going to get too complicated with anything in here. For now, let's just create a basic Cinemachine camera, previously called Cinemachine virtual camera, I believe. For the sake of organization, let's create a camera's empty game object and drag both our main camera and our Cinemachine camera inside this empty camera's game object. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag this all the way to the top. Now that we have this created, you can see that it's overriding what we previously had for our main camera as far as position and rotation is concerned. So let's just go ahead and once again get that roughly in place to where we'd like it. Resetting its transform, zooming back a little bit, zooming up a little bit, and then we'll just need to modify its rotation just a tad. I don't remember quite where we had it before, so let's just get it roughly about where we had it previously. Somewhere around there. Yeah, not a bad guess. Now that we have that set up, instead of modifying our main camera field of view, which I don't think will actually let us even use this slider, nope, it's because it's being overridden by our Cinemachine virtual camera, we now actually just want to modify this lens property here. Or if you were to open up this little lens dropdown, we actually are specifically modifying this vertical field of view. When we slow down, we can just kind of go, slow it down in place, slow it down again. When we speed up, we can actually just go, whew, speed up, whew, speed up. We'll need some sort of min and max vertical field of view, but I think that will really sell the effect that we're both slowing down and speeding up. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and rig that up with a new camera controller script. Let's create that in scripts. I think player would make a reasonable place to put it. And we can just go ahead and create a new mono behavior script. And we'll call this our camera controller. And we can attach this camera controller script directly to our Cinemachine camera. And let's open that up in VS Code. So let's actually have a think about what we want to do inside of this camera controller. We know that we're going to need to call some sort of function as a public method from our level generator class, I believe. Let's go ahead and open that up. Our level generator class here in our change chunk move speed, whenever we slow down or speed up, we're going to need to call some sort of public function inside of our camera controller. So let's go ahead and start with that. Let's create a public method. We can just call it public void change camera FOV for field of view. Inside here, we know we're either going to want to slow down or speed up, so it would probably make sense to pass through some sort of either float or bool to go ahead and do that. However, using our level generator change chunk move speed, we already have this float speed amount that is already going to be passing through a negative or a positive value. So let's actually just use this and pass that through to our new public method. Let's pass through that float speed amount, and then we can actually just detect if we're passing through a negative or a positive value. And now we have a few different decisions to be made. I do think it would look a little bit too stiff and rigid if we just immediately changed our field of view straight from, say, 60 to 40 or 60 to 80. I think it would make a lot more sense to lerp it in between two different points over some sort of time duration. And there's a few different ways to achieve that. I think the one that would make the most sense in our use case is using a coroutine to lerp in between those 2 points. We've used lerp before, but I don't believe we've ever used it inside of a coroutine with a while loop. It's probably the most common way to linearly interpolate between 2 points. It gives us a couple nice luxuries in that we can actually choose a lerp move speed and some sort of time duration that we actually want to lerp over. So let's go ahead and create that coroutine, and I'll just call it IE enumerator change FOV routine. Let's see what we need when we type mathf.lerp. We're going to linearly interpolate between A and B by T. T just meaning time in this case, so 3 different floats. We're going to need a starting point, an ending point, and then over some sort of time duration. Cool, so let's actually just comment that out for now, and let's define those 3 floats. Let's start with our float start field of view. Well, for this, we just want to get the current field of view that our Cinemachine camera is currently at. So let's go ahead and get a reference to our Cinemachine camera. We can just call this Cinemachine camera. That will import the unity.cinemachine namespace to make sure that we can properly use that. And we can just call it Cinemachine camera with a lowercase c. Well, let's just go ahead and grab that reference on awake. As a nice rule of thumb, it can always be nice to get references to the game object upon which this class is attached to in awake, and then get references to other game objects that might not necessarily belong to this game object in start, which is a nice way through programming to just help us avoid any sort of race condition, making sure we don't get any sort of null reference error. So let's set Cinemachine camera equal to be get component Cinemachine camera. Now that we have this reference, we just want to actually get the field of view property. So Cinemachine camera dot lens dot field of view. Great, now that we have that start field of view, we need our second float in our lerp function, which is going to be our end field of view, or the target field of view that we're achieving. Now, I think that would make sense to actually clamp that in between two different ranges. We don't want to zoom in too far or zoom out too far. So let's actually create a couple different serialized fields for that min and max FOV. So serialized field, let's create a float, let's create a min FOV. And I'm not exactly sure where I want that yet. We are currently sitting at 60. Let's just try something like 20 for now. And then as a max, let's just try something like 120. I think this will be close. We can do some testing back in Unity. Now that we have both the min and the max, we want to clamp our end or our target field of view in between these 2 points. So let's define another float for our target FOV. And we'll set that equal to be mathf.clamp. And then once again, passing through 3 different floats, the current float that we have, and then the min and the max float to make sure that it's always clamped in between those 2 ranges. Okay, well, going through this process step at a time, we don't really have this first float, so I'll just actually say some float. But we know we want to clamp it in between our min FOV and our max FOV. Well, to get this unknown float that we haven't actually defined yet, I think it would make sense to use this float speed amount up above in our change camera field of view. That way we know if we need to zoom in or zoom out. So let's actually, once again, just pass through into this coroutine. So float, speed, amount. Well, now we can actually just replace some float with start FOV plus speed amount. With that, now we actually have our target FOV. All we need now to properly lerp in between those 2 points is our last float, which is t, or time in other words. Well, t isn't necessarily the amount of time that we want to lerp over. We actually really just want a value in between 0 to 1 to make sure that we're actually properly interpolating over the course of going from 0% to 100%. Well, what do I actually mean by that? At the very top, let's actually define the field for how long we want to lerp. So serialized field, let's create another float that we'll just call zoom duration. And we'll just set this to something like 1 second for now. I think this might actually be a little bit too long of a duration. I think something a little bit snappier might look nice, but let's just actually start with a nice round number as 1. And we want to zoom from our start field of view to our target field of view over this zoom duration. A common way to do that inside of a coroutine is using a while loop. Inside of this while loop, we can actually just say over the course of our zoom duration, which is 1 second, we want to go from point A to point B. So we're going to actually need to define some sort of elapsed time that we can increase. Well, let's just create a float elapsed time, and we can just initialize that at 0 because we're going to actually increase this by time.delta time inside of our while loop. So inside of our while loop, we're going to actually take elapsed time plus equal time.delta time just to add time to our elapsed time float. Now inside of our while loop, we want to say while elapsed time is less than our zoom duration. Inside this while loop, we can now actually properly lerp. And what do we actually want to lerp? Well, we want to lerp our Cinemachine camera.lens.field of view. We want to set that equal to mathf.lerp, which is actually this down below. We can just go ahead and delete that line. And now we can actually pass through those 3 different floats that we have. We want to start with our start FOV, go to our target FOV over the course of our time variable, which is elapsed time over our zoom duration. This will always return a number in between 0 to 1, making sure that we're lerping in between point A to point B over the course of going from 0% to 100%. So to really bring this point home, we can actually just create another float called t and set that equal to be elapsed time divided by zoom duration, always giving us a value in between 0 to 1. And inside of our lerp function, we just want to actually use that t variable. Because we're using a coroutine, we need to actually yield and return something. So inside of our while loop, we actually just want to yield return null, which is basically just saying don't return anything, but it's technically waiting until the next frame. Lastly is a little bit of quality assurance. To make sure that we're not having any sort of float precision errors in between each individual frame, we can actually just set Cinemachine camera.lens.field of view, which is really just what we're changing to begin with, to target FOV to be equal to exactly our target FOV. A bit of a perhaps, potentially unnecessary line, but it can be a nice little quality assurance to make sure that we're always setting our Cinemachine field of view exactly equal to our target field of view. Okay, that was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? Go ahead, take a deep breath and really take this in. This 10 lines of code or so is extremely common. I used this exact pattern for lerping in between 2 points over and over again. It is probably one of my most common patterns that I use inside of Unity to make sure that I'm linearly interpolating in between point A to point B over some sort of time duration, and I want control of all of those variables exposed in the inspector. Let's just make sure that we actually start this coroutine in our change camera FOV method that we're going to call from our level generator class. Start coroutine, change FOV routine, and then we just need to make sure we're passing through our speed amount variable. Let's see, what am I doing wrong here? Trying to call my own method. That's not going to work. Let's call our change FOV routine and pass through our speed amount variable. We just need to make sure we actually call this function change camera FOV in our level generator class. To do that, we just need a reference to our camera controller. Here at the very tippy top, we can just create that as a serialized field. We'll call that camera controller. We'll grab a reference to our camera controller and we'll just call it camera controller with a lowercase c. Down here below, after we're changing the physics.gravity property, let's just go into our camera controller and change camera FOV and passing through our speed amount variable. Before we hop straight back into Unity, it's worth mentioning that there is a little bit of a bug here in regards to changing our physics.gravity property. This physics.gravity is actually changing outside of this if block, which means, even if we're running into a fence or an obstacle, it's going to continually slow down our physics.gravity, even though we're not actually slowing down or moving up. Don't worry, we'll actually get that fixed in the next lecture or two. For now, let's go ahead and hop back into Unity and make sure our camera controller is working. On our level generator, let's go ahead and assign this camera controller by dragging in our Cinemachine camera. Okay, let's go ahead and hit play, and I'll just make sure I'm clicked on my Cinemachine camera, taking a look at this vertical field of view. Okay, cool, we actually did get it changing. We are just ever so slightly zooming in when we slow down, and let's go ahead and see if we can actually pick up an apple. When we pick up an apple, we should also be seeing, okay, cool, we are increasing our vertical field of view by 3 and decreasing it by 2 when we get hit by an obstacle. But as you can see, you can just barely see it. That means we're just going to need to add some sort of modifier to make things more drastic in our camera controller. So let's go ahead and hop back into our camera controller and set that up. Nothing too complicated here. We just need to actually make everything a bit more drastic. So let's create a serialized field. Let's create a float. And I think we can just call this our zoom speed modifier. And we can initialize that to something like 5 for now. That will just change the amount that we're either zooming in or zooming out by a factor of 5. So we just want to take this zoom speed modifier and somewhere down here where we're designating our target field of view, yep, right here, start field of view plus speed amount, let's actually take our start FOV plus our speed amount times our zoom speed modifier. Nice, I think this will do the trick nicely. Let's try that out back in Unity. All right, let's go ahead and blow up our game view and see how that feels. When we hit a fence, we go ahead and slow down. And when we pick up an apple, we go zero and speed all the way up. And once we actually pick up a few apples, we are just flying at warp speed and actually creating a pretty fun game loop. But we have created just one little bug. We can see that if we're both trying to speed up and slow down or vice versa at the exact same time, our coroutine is kind of conflicting with itself. Well, we can actually fix that by going into our camera controller. We only ever want one coroutine happening at a time. At the moment, this entire class only ever has one coroutine, so before we start the next coroutine, let's actually just use this built-in Unity method called stop all coroutines. We can just make sure that we stop the previous coroutine before we start the next one. Let's go try that out back in Unity. And where do we actually want our min and our max FOVs to be? Maybe something around, let's say, 35. And for our max FOV, maybe something around there or so. So let's actually say 85. So 35 and 85 for our min and our max FOV on our Cinemachine camera controller. Here we go. Let's say our min is 35 and our max, what did we say? 85. And with that, I think we're all set to go. I think we can take this one step further by juicing up our speed up effect with a custom particle effect. We'll tackle that in the next lecture.